Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one Kentucky police officer is in hot water after a woman says he forcibly kissed her during a traffic stop.
Meanwhile, in Laurel County, the sheriff's office is asking for help to find a man who robbed a London gas station at gunpoint, taking all the money they had.
Plus, hundreds of people around Mount Sterling are asking for answers after a popular pawn shop was raided, leaving behind many pawned items they had given for a loan.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:34 on December 20th. I'm Madison Pergram.
And I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning on this Friday.
On this Friday, we've said it all morning because we're so excited. We're almost to the weekend, almost to Christmas break. A lot of celebrations going on.
It's right there.
It's right there. Let's go to Brandon Robinson. Brandon, it is right there. We are so close.
Absolutely.
5 days.
Absolutely. And guess what? This forecast brought to you by the letters, say it with me, TGIF. All right, let's get into it this morning. Cold temperatures, again, the trend this morning as you head out the door. 17 in Monticello, 19 in Ashland, 28 Pikeville, 31 in Jackson, and 32 in Wise, 24 here in Hazard, 23 in London. Give you kind of a range there. There is going to be some frost on your windshields this morning, so give yourself a minute or two to either scrape them off or warm those cars up. Coffee meter, you'll need a little extra on the max warming needed scale there this morning on the coffee meter. The day planner, though, takes us into the 50-degree range later today with a mixture of sunshine and clouds. We'll talk about the extended forecast coming up here in just a little bit.
Well, thank you, Brandon. A woman and child are in the hospital after being hit by a car in Whitley County last night. We are told the woman and her grandchild were walking out of a Williamsburg store when she fell in the crosswalk. A car hit both of them. We are told the injuries, while serious, are not considered life-threatening. The driver is not facing charges as of now. Dispatch says it appears to have been just an accident. The two were flown to a hospital.
And the search is on in Ashland for a shooter. They found a man around midnight at a Boyd County home shot in the head. Now that man is at Cobble Huntington Hospital with life-threatening injuries. This is a video of the home where the shooting happened, and police say they do have a description of the shooter, but no arrests have been made.
Well, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says they identified the man they believe to be responsible for a 30-year-old murder. Investigators say Jerry Johns is suspected of killing Tina Farmer. They began looking into him during a murder investigation in Knox County, Tennessee. Investigators said DNA evidence connected Johns to the crime. He died in prison. TBI says they are still investigating the possibility that Johns was connected to a string of killings known as the Redhead murders.
And hundreds of people around Mount Sterling are asking for answers after a popular pawn shop was raided, leaving behind many pawned items they had given for a loan. The items were not seized and the owners are now in jail, leaving nobody to operate the store. Police are working to reunite people with their stolen property, but those who had pawned non-illegal items, there is no solution in sight. For example, Well Cassidy pawned his $700 radio for a loan to purchase Christmas gifts, planning to later pay that back.
Since they shut it down, there's no way of actually how are people supposed to get their stuff back.
At the end of the day, the police department says they aren't a pawn shop and anybody with pawn goods simply must wait. Deputies say they have spoken to other employees of the pawn shop who tell officials they are working on a resolution.
A Louisville police officer is in hot water after a woman says he forcibly kissed her during a traffic stop 2 years ago. Officer Richard Barron is now fighting through the merit board to get his job back. He says he misread the situation when he asked for a hug to thank him, and he thought she wanted him to kiss him. The woman, who we are not publicly identifying, then went to police that same day to report the officer.
And the search is on for an inmate that escaped in Powell County. 27-year-old John Bigsby went on the run Wednesday afternoon. Here's a picture. Take a close look. Kentucky State Police say he escaped while on a work release at a transfer station in Clay County. Bigsby was last seen wearing an orange jumpsuit, and troopers believe he is driving a stolen red car. If you see Bigsby, call 911 immediately.
Good Samaritans stopped to help a wreck victim only to become victims of a bizarre crime. Police in Lincoln County say a crash victim stole the car of the people who stopped to help him, then drove that car with one of them inside to Berea. The man who stopped to help was hanging onto his car while police say Raymond McCullum drove off. About 2 hours later, the car was spotted in Berea after McCullum threw the woman the keys to the car and went inside a restaurant.
The wife that was inside the vehicle, she fought with him, trying to get him out of the vehicle. The elderly man attempted to get into the vehicle and stop the subject from taking off, and he was drugged down the road.
McCullum remains in jail facing serious charges of kidnapping, robbery, and theft. He was found inside that restaurant eating chicken.
And donations from across the country are pouring in to help solve a Floyd County crime. And earlier this week, more than a dozen horses were found shot to death at a strip mine in Floyd County.
Yeah, as Garrett Weimer explains, the reward now sits at $15,000.
Willow is getting fatter, healthier.
Hey girl, how are you?
Finally living a safe and stable life on the Shelby County farm now bearing her name, Willow Hope.
You're a sweet girl, aren't you? Hmm?
Sadly, the same can't be said of more than a dozen horses from the same herd.
We have seen very just overt cruelty to animals so many times. It gets exhausting. This is probably one of the most horrific things that I have seen in my career.
Authorities believe someone hunted those horses down on a Floyd County strip mine and shot them with a low-caliber rifle, even foals and pregnant mares.
After I was sad and sickened, I just got angry.
Donors, organizations, and others have now raised $15,000 and counting to help find the person or people responsible for killing those horses. Leaders with the Kentucky Humane Society can't imagine why someone would do that to such beautiful animals.
They're kind, they're majestic.
Sometimes they just need a little extra love, like Willow. She's come a long way since they took her in October, emaciated.
You're getting fat, aren't you, huh? Good girl.
That's why it's so important to them that whoever shot those horses is brought to justice.
They were just up there on their own, and somebody had to go up there with the intent to harm them, and it was just pure malice.
They want to make sure other horses like Willow continue to have hope for survival. In Shelby County, Garrett Weimer, WYMT Mountain News.
Humane Society leaders urge others outraged by what happened to also donate to the reward fund to further encourage someone to speak up about what happened.
And yesterday morning, a London gas station was robbed at gunpoint, taking all the money they had. Gilbert Achardo from the Laurel County Sheriff's Office said it seemed he had scouted out the store and he was trying to completely hide his identity. The robber left on foot, and the Sheriff's Office is still trying to track him down.
People in Laurel County are really good about working with law enforcement, and if anybody recognizes maybe just a pair of shoes that he's got on or something in the photos, we're hoping that they'll give us a call.
He says they do not see many armed robberies, and it is a scary thing for this to happen. They have several leads they are chasing, but ask you to contact them at 606-864-6600 if you have any information.
Well, former Governor Matt Bevin is facing new criticism after documents reveal he pardoned a Laurel County sex offender. This man, Charles Phelps, submitted a petition that was only 8 pages long. Phelps pleaded guilty in 2013 to child porn charges and tampering with a witness. He was also involved in other cases involving sexual contact with 2 minors. Phelps's petition contained no court documents. This is the last page from it. It says, quote, Mr. Phelps is the brother of twins who retired from the KSP. This entire family supported Governor Bevin staunchly, unquote. Phelps will now be removed from the Kentucky Sex Offender Registry.
And meanwhile, the pardon controversies continue in western Kentucky. The Louisville Courier-Journal reports that former Governor Bevin freed a convicted child rapist because he did not believe there was enough evidence. Bevin said the victim did not have a specific type of damage to her genitals. The paper interviewed the Commonwealth's former medical examiner, who said the governor has no idea what he's talking about. The specific damage Bevin cited only occurs in 2.1% of child rape cases, according to a forensic science journal.
Forecast this morning, sunrise on the way here outside the WYMT studio. It's going to take a little while longer, about an hour or so to go before we get there, but it's on the way. Not a cloud in the sky this morning, and things looking pretty good as we head through the first part of your day. Temperatures on the cold side, 17 Monticello, 19 Ashland. Everybody else there in the mid to upper 20s and some low 30s in Jackson and in Wise. Across the state, 30 in Louisville right now, 31 in Lexington, 21 back toward Charleston, West Virginia, and the Tri-Cities of Kingsport, Johnson City, and Bristol. 22 on the other end of the state there at Paducah. Your out the door forecast, we are going to feature temperatures that climb today with sunshine, hopefully getting to right around 50 degrees. We'll add a few more clouds though in as we get deeper into the afternoon and into the evening hours. Guys?
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you for joining Mountain News this morning.
Here's a look at what's ahead. All eyes are on the Senate after a majority of the House voted Wednesday night to impeach President Trump.
And a bill to increase the minimum age to buy tobacco is heading to the president's desk.